the best answer, and I'll try to make it the way that it was meant.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, cookie, cookie, cookie starts with C.
And that was...
Come on.
Hello and welcome. My name is Adam Johnson. You are tuning into the Sandbox Audio Experience, the podcast where we leave the comforts of Extreme Sandbox to go hang out with our friends in theirs. And joining me today on a supersode is Randy Stinger, CEO and founder of Extreme Sandbox. Randy, this is your first podcast.
Well,
welcome.
One, it's a cookie cafe, so I love
Okay.
cookies. And two, I worked with Tina for a long time at Target, and yeah, pretty cool what she's built here. So I had to be here today.
Awesome. This isn't the way I was going. I wanted Randy to ask those hard-hitting questions and really put Tina in the hot seat, but it seems like they're getting off on the right foot right away. Speaking of our guest, we've got Tina here. We'll stop talking about her in third person. Tina is the owner and founder of the T-Rex Cookie Company. We're here live on location.
Welcome to the cafe.
This is the coolest. Thank you for having us today.
Free cookies for everybody. Yay!
Rick, make a meme.
That's awesome.
So Tina is, like I said, the owner, and you brought us here. This is the first time that our podcast has been live on location, so you might be able to hear some people enjoying the cafe in the background, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Tina, tell us about how you started T-Rex Cookie Company.
How I started.
Yeah, how did you start this?
Well, I started about 3 years ago, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I had quit my corporate gig over at...
The big bullseye.
Well, I left Target. I went over to Finger Hut for like 6 months. And in the 6 months I was over at Finger Hut, I had 4 jobs and three bosses. And after my last boss, I said, screw it, I'm not doing this anymore. And so I quit on my birthday on the spot. I said, I'm done. Had no plans whatsoever. It was November of 2014.
Okay.
So I sat around for, trying to convince my husband that I didn't have to go back to work. And so I sat around for a couple months, binge watching all of the Game of Thrones series, all of them. And then in January, I decided to start the company because I used to be a competitive baker at the Minnesota State Fair. And
Sweet.
Randy would attest. I would make cookies
And bring them in or something?
And I would bring them in, and my entire staff and team would get fat because I would just bring in treats all the time.
Yeah,
Carb
might
loading.
be why we liked her the most. I honestly don't know much about Tina other than she brought in cookies.
She was the lady that brought the cookies.
And
Yeah.
it could have been anyone, but hers were the best.
How did you guys first meet? Do you remember?
My cube was across from your cube.
Yeah, that is right. So we are cube
Share
buddies.
staplers or?
No, so we both worked at Target in it was measurement and reporting back then,
Yep.
was it? Yeah. Turned
Yep.
into like business intelligence, a bunch of techies and stuff like
Sure.
that. So yeah, that's how we met, and she was very analytical and knew the numbers, and I was just an idiot that didn't know any of that stuff. But she had cookies, and she was willing to give them to me.
She was your best friend.
She was my best friend.
I could buy friendship that way, and actually it works out really well, even to this day. So yeah, I kind of started the company in January 2015, just got the LLC with really no plans. I said, you know what? I can sell at Minneapolis Farmers Market. I'll just rent a little commercial kitchen. I sold my very first cookie May of 2015, and by the end of that summer, I had picked up a couple other farmers markets, and then
Sweet.
lo and behold, in December, the NBC's Today Show called me, and they heard about one of my cookies and said, hey, would you like to come out to New York and talk about this cookie on
Yes.
national TV?
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So the business kind of blew up after that 45-second spot on the Today Show, and I kind of just went with the flow, even though it's not necessarily in my business plan to own a brick and mortar, but here I am.
Well, how did you guys hook up after you guys started your business? Did you guys do something like that? Do you remember that?
Yes, I actually had signed my LLC, and I actually reached out to Randy because he had started Extreme Sandbox before I started. And I'm like, we met at a Caribou. We're like, let me just bounce these ideas off of you. And Randy is all about customers want experience. Forget about selling the cookies.
Right.
they just want to experience making the cookies. So I kind of thought about that, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really my thing. I needed to make money. And
The idea was great. I wanted to make some money, though.
We should write that down. Maybe we should focus on that.
Step one.
well, it was one thing. I actually did start out doing some teaching.
Yep.
But I realized I couldn't scale me teaching.
Totally.
So I taught a couple classes, and then more people wanted me to teach classes, and there was only one of me.
There's only one of you.
But I could make hundreds of cookies and sell more cookies than classes.
That is so funny. I just flashback remembered all that. I'm like, I did say that, and it was because I don't have any business. I mean, I don't know the food business at all, but I remember her talking. She was first of all, very passionate. I mean, she did competitions, so clearly baking and everything like that. But that's step one. But step two to me is like, how much competition is there in the cookie? I mean, any food. So I was sitting there trying to, experiences are so hot. Do a cooking class or for corporate, and it was. I remember giving that.
You're
that
giving
idea.
some future entrepreneurs some ideas right
Well,
now.
they already. I mean, it's got to think outside the box. But I think what she did is instead just focused on building a really unique brand. I mean, the idea that it's T-Rex cookies and they're mammoth. If you guys haven't seen these things, they're really. It just.
Have we discussed? I'm sure, maybe not. My brain works in odd ways. How does a T-Rex eat a cookie?
Well, they have to be big. That's why they're so big.
That's the visual for those listening right now. We'll have to see the video.
It got real
of
quiet
you.
there for a second as I was trying to emulate a Tyrannosaurus.
Well, wait, how about the name? So how did you come up with the name?
My
We all
name is
know.
Tina Rexing.
Why does someone have to ask that question?
I was gonna.
But
have
you'd be
her-
surprised. I love giving my business card to people, and people are actually saying, "Is that your real name?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
It's so cool.
Did you have that when you did at the state fair, or is that
No.
a new? Okay, so
No.
you came up with that once you started the place.
Well, yeah, and actually, I had thought of the logo long before I started the company. Like almost 6 years before I started the company, I actually reached out and to an artist and said, "Hey, could you possibly make me a T-Rex that's baking?" And I kind of had that logo in my back
Cool.
pocket. And when this came about, it's kind of like serendipity, right?
Right.
Something just happens. I'm like, oh, guess what? I have a logo in my back pocket I can use for this. So that's just kind of happened.
Time for our challenge round. We're going to put Randy and Tina up to some trivia questions,
Oh, it's not a physical agility test.
cookie related.
Oh, I will do very
We will
well.
see who knows. All of these questions are super simple. They're true or false.
Oh. What do we win?
Huh? Recognition.
Oh.
But I should be true or false. She should have to give. She's a award-winning baker, and that's not really fair, is it?
We'll see.
Okay, fine.
I thought you knew about cookies.
Like Oreos.
Very good. All right, here is question number one. Again, true or false. 13.5% of Americans admit to eating 20 or more chocolate chip cookies at a time.
At a time.
Well, who's this, to both of us?
You can, both of you answer.
Do I have a buzzer or something? I can.
It's not, it's who's up, just say
True.
an answer.
I say
True.
false.
You say
It's
false?
more.
It is true.
I win.
1 point, Tina. Chocolate chips were developed specifically for the use in the chocolate chip cookie recipe. True or false?
False.
True.
It is true. What are you doing?
I was so confident in that answer too. Like, there's no way they were
Developed
made
by
for
the
a
Nestle
cookie.
company.
This is
Duh.
not fair.
All right, here's a tough one. Letting prepared chocolate chip cookies rest in a refrigerator for 24 to 36 hours will give your cookies more flavor.
True.
True.
That's a trick question. It's unknown. Cookies don't last for more than 24 hours.
Awkward.
Can you see my eye roll?
Yeah, exactly.
This conversation's a real treat.
No pun intended.
Number 4. 75% of U.S. households consume cookies.
True.
True.
False.
Is it more?
95.2%.
You should know your
We have
market.
a cookie epidemic. Last one. Time Out Magazine named T-Rex Cookie Company's Sea Salt Caramel Chocolate Chip Cookies the #1 best cookie in America
True.
in 2015.
True.
False.
2016. That was actually a trick question for Tina, and she listened, so very well done. Let's get into the rest of these questions. So those were some trivia questions. I want to get into some more hard-hitting questions, and these are from Yahoo Answers. Have you ever heard of Yahoo Answers?
No. Should I have?
Tina has this chagrined look on her face. These are users that ask specific questions on cookie related
Oh.
for you today. I have them. So this is from user Parvin. How do you enable cookies?
Enable cookies.
Yes, I have Firefox. How do you enable cookies? Tried to do it but can't. How do you enable cookies?
Oh, he's talking like
It's
those
a tech-related
cookies.
question. I love it.
I used to be in Target IT.
I was gonna say she is tech. That's gonna backfire on me.
No.
It was under the cooking and baking section of Yahoo Answers. So please, Tina, if you can help us enable cookies.
I enable cookies by putting them in the oven, so actually they warm up and they taste much better. Thus, enabled.
If you go and hit the gear icon up on the top right of the Explorer,
Sure,
and
I'm
then it
with
has
you.
settings and it says cookies. It can also teach you how to clear cache if you want to know how to do that.
If
That's
you've been watching
question.
too much porn, right?
That's question number 2. I'm going to talk over the porn answer. When do you need to enable cookies for the cache? It's from Parvin. It's her second answer.
That is really? Mm-hmm. You're not even making that up. Okay. Yeah, you do what I just said. Can
Fair
we move
enough.
on to the next question?
Sure. This one's from Alicia, and Alicia, like backwards caret 3, so it looks like a heart sign. Alicia asks, why are cookies named cookies? Why are cookies named cookies?
Well,
You don't cook them, you bake them. They should be called bakies because you bake them.
well, the history of the cookie, actually, which I know,
Yeah, let's see,
Is
because I
that-
have it.
Just to be clear, you don't have a real answer here, do you?
I do.
Please, let's see what the real answer is.
Cookies were developed in Europe when they had to test whether or not cakes would taste good. So what a cookie is actually a small cake. What they would take is the cake batter and bake a little bit off in a cookie form, so they would understand and taste them before they actually baked off the entire cake. So
So you're saying it's because it sounds a little bit like cake? That's how they got the name?
it's Latin for cake. I'm totally making that up, but it sounded really good, didn't it?
That was actually a better answer than the first part of that. So
Oh,
cut
the
that
first
out.
part is
Just
actually
go.
true.
Eirik, do you speak Dutch?
Kuchen, right?
Kuchen. Yeah, so there was a lot of people saying, stop asking dumb questions. But then there was some asshole that wrote the Wikipedia page answer. The word cookie originally from the Dutch word kajoki? Whatever.
Do I look
It
Dutch?
means little cake.
I was going to say another word.
That's racist.
racist.
Anyway, so they gave me an entire paragraph we're not going to read.
I'm glad you brought that to this.
I want to be prepared for the podcast.
Okay.
So I can answer pretty much everything about where it happened in Scotland, and I am so hungry right now. Randy, do you want?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Is that famous Amos?
No,
No milk
it's
cream
an
pie.
Tina, do you want an oatmeal cream pie?
A little Debbie?
Yeah, a little.
Oh my God.
No, it
These-
was sitting in your pocket.
It's
It's,
super
warm.
warm.
It's warm.
These are amazing, Adam.
Super warm.
Where did you get this oatmeal cream pie? These are amazing.
I don't know. Like when I go on location, I like to just have food on tap in case we're not fed.
It's so soft and chewy.
Tina's gonna beat
Those
the
are-
shit out of us.
No.
You literally.
Yeah.
I don't want to run your business for you, but if you just bought these and unwrapped them and put them right in that display case,
Stick with what you know, Randy.
Well, I'm just saying. So they're $1.50 at Cub right now for 12.
oh my gosh. How much are your cookies?
They are $4 each, and they're each half a pound.
Oh my God. That's so good.
Oh, you have dinosaur socks on.
I have dinosaur socks on.
Look at those.
I knew
Do
I
you
was
have
going to be
dinosaur
on.
socks on, Adam?
I have white socks on.
Do you literally wear? I mean, is this normal?
Dress
Part of my-
attire?
Yeah, actually, T-Rex Cookie has a brand, and part of my brand is socks.
I need to keep going because there's people on Yahoo Answers that need our help.
Okay.
The best answer, and I'll try to make it the way that was meant.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, cookie starts with C.
And that was,
Come on. Literally everyone is looking at you awkward right now.
it comes with the territory. That was actually, someone made an account called Cookie Monster to respond with that answer.
He was singing. It doesn't hit you right away. And then after a few bites.
This was interesting. It's a dill pickle cookie that tastes like sugar cookie, and then about 5
Dill
seconds.
pickle?
It doesn't. It tastes like a sugar cookie, and then 5 seconds later you go,
Yeah, you taste it. It's like an aftertaste.
I just ate a pickle.
And I don't like pickles, so.
That's interesting.
The sea salt, they're amazing. Sea salt caramel.
What year did they win?
2016.
So, like I said,
It's a 5-pound cookie.
we don't use frosting, so we write on it with white chocolate or chocolate. So this one's Happy Birthday, Patrick, right there.
You guys have no concept of it. Is actually really, really heavy.
Yep, and so our cookies are so big that only 6 fit on a pan.
You could get more on there, just so you know. I'm all about efficiency. If you move those over.
So these are sugar, and then these are English toffee. But I'll show you the oven that these goes in. This way. Come hither. This is our oven. Cookies go in and out. Right here.
Whoa.
Wow.
They're so hot and fresh. So wait, but the process is you do this in the morning then? And
We make maybe about 150 to 200 depending on the day of the week. Saturdays we make about 250.
wow. How long do you keep them?
Well, they usually last no more than 2 days, but because they're so huge, the shelf life of these cookies is about 7 days before they need to be frozen.
Is that better or worse? Does the huge make them easier or worse for keeping?
Easier because the size of them actually, because size matters. Size matters. You'll see that because it's got a bigger center, it's gonna maintain moisture longer than a normal cookie.
You guys mix everything. Where do you do all?
They're right here. This is a 60-quart bowl. So it's kind of like your heavy equipment from an extreme sandbox. This is extreme baking. But this is the size of the, here's this.
That is T-Rex.
Yeah, so basically each batch of dough makes about 80 pounds and we go through about 12 pounds of butter per batch. About 20 pounds of chocolate chips. So our chocolate chips come in giant containers like this. We only use high quality chocolate.
Tina, thanks for having us out today.
Thanks
it was
for coming
really,
out.
really cool that you let us do the podcast with you. First one that we shot on site. Thank you for letting me eat cookies. That was always good. So hopefully you guys had fun with this. We're going to go and try and do more of these. Please like us on Facebook. Put a comment down on there. Visit Tina here at the T-Rex Cookie Café. What's the address again?
3338 University Avenue, Southeast in Minneapolis.
Say Extreme Sandbox sent you and they'll give you a free cookie.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's not really true. Don't
No,
say
it can be true. It's fine.
What? Oh, well, you heard that.
It's
Okay.
marketing.
Yeah, so please check us out. Thanks, guys, for following us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.